They work for us.
Yeah.
In theory, they're experienced and knowledgeable. Everyone's on the same page. Yeah, I mean, when you know the people around and you're not worried about having to, liaison with the arena or the local promoter or the local sponsor that wants to do this, or you have to do these announcements or this and that. A lot of things can come up in an arena show that you can eliminate, and I would say that's a good thing. A show like this has to be tight, and you got to get from A to B to C to D, and get everything in and get everything looking great, and it's got to sound right, it's got to look right. Cameras have to be, that's another thing, camera positions in different arenas vary, right? So the UFC has a certain setup. They may have to alter that setup depending upon the arena or the size of the arena. And all that is thrown out the window if you have your own home court, basically. So it's very, I mean, like I said, peace of mind, comfort, hassle factor low. I think it's an excellent way to do it. I would do it there all the time. I can understand how fans might be disappointed. The UFC is not coming to my town, and I can't, wait in line to give them thousands of dollars for a ticket. That's the other thing. I don't know how many average Joes can afford to see the UFC these days anyway. But at the end of the day, the UFC is a television event, and most of your audience is watching it on television. So anything that makes it a better television event, I would be in favor of, and it sounds like they are also.
And right now they're going through an expansion, I think, to get it up to like 1,000.
I mean, that would be cool too. We did a show back in the day it was at the Casino Magic in Bay St. Louis, and it was like a riverboat casino about an hour away from New Orleans in Mississippi. And in the parking lot they had this like a tent. It wasn't a tent, but it was a rigid kind of tent setup, and I think it was 800 or 900 people, and that, it was one of my favorite shows, and that was one of the coolest rooms to be in, because like I said, everyone is on top of the octagon, everyone is hyper focused, everyone is close to the action, and you certainly don't lose anything, I think, from the audience participation standpoint. You don't have those wide sweeping crowd shots and banks of people. That's what you lose, and you like to show that off, of course, but UFC is beyond that, I think, at this point, given its success. So for them to kind of drill down and say, hey, what's the best way for us to present this as a television property, as a television broadcast? I think that's a good idea, actually.
And also, when you've spent 20 million to build a venue, to not use
Wow.
it